Hello, and welcome to 20 Minutes with Jesus. As we begin, allow yourself to settle into this moment. You do not need to brace yourself. You do not need to anticipate what comes next. This is a space to rest. The beginning of a year often brings mixed emotions. Hope and uncertainty walk side by side. Plans are formed while questions remain unanswered. Many hearts feel the desire to feel secure, steady, and confident. Yet the world around them feels anything but stable. This is where the idea of unshakable trust becomes deeply meaningful. Trust that cannot be shaken is not built on circumstances. It is not rooted in predictable outcomes or favorable conditions. It is anchored in something deeper, in the character of God, which remains constant even when everything else changes. Many people believe trust should feel strong and unwavering at all times. But biblical trust is often quiet. It does not announce itself. It grows slowly through repeated moments of choosing to rest in God instead of reacting to uncertainty. At the start of a new year, it is easy to look ahead and feel overwhelmed by what is unknown. Decisions to be made, situations unresolved, paths unclear. When the mind fixates on uncertainty, peace becomes fragile. God invites us to a different posture. Instead of asking us to control what comes next, He invites us to anchor our thoughts in Him. When the heart learns where to rest its focus, stability follows. Not because circumstances become calm, but because the soul has found a steady place to stand. Unshakable trust does not eliminate fear. It teaches the heart where to go when fear arises. This kind of trust allows you to live without constant tension. It quiets the inner noise that demands certainty. It frees you from the pressure to figure everything out before moving forward. God does not promise a future without challenges. He promises His presence within them, and His presence changes everything. As we begin this episode, release the expectation that trust must feel dramatic or bold. God is forming something gentler and stronger, a trust that rests, that waits, and that remains steady even when answers take time to arrive. This is not a trust that rushes ahead. It is a trust that abides. And as we continue, allow your heart to explore what it means to truly rest in what does not change, even as everything else does. Unshakable trust begins in a place many people overlook: the mind. Not the emotions, not the circumstances, not the outcomes, but the place where thoughts settle and return when life feels uncertain. The mind becomes the meeting place between fear and faith, anxiety and peace. Many hearts struggle not because God is unfaithful, but because their thoughts have no steady place to rest. At the beginning of a year, the mind is often crowded. Questions surface. Possibilities multiply. Concerns compete for attention. And without intention, thoughts drift toward worst-case scenarios. Peace becomes fragile not because God has changed, but because focus has shifted. God invites us to anchor our minds intentionally. Unshakable trust is formed when the mind learns where to return, again and again. Not to predictions, not to control, not to constant analysis, but to God's character, which remains steady when everything else feels unstable. Many people believe trust should silence uncertainty completely. But trust does not erase questions. It teaches the heart how to live with them without panic. It allows uncertainty to exist without becoming dominant. This is a learned posture. When the mind is not anchored, it becomes reactive. Every new piece of information feels urgent. Every delay feels threatening. Every unanswered prayer feels personal. But when the mind is anchored in God, reactions soften. discernment increases. Peace becomes accessible again. God does not ask us to deny reality. He asks us to choose where our focus rests within it. Unshakable trust grows when we intentionally redirect our thoughts, not forcefully, not harshly, but faithfully. Each time anxiety tries to take over, trust gently brings the mind back to God's truth. This repetition matters. Trust is strengthened not in one dramatic moment, but in many small decisions to refocus. These moments may feel insignificant, but they shape the inner world deeply over time. At the start of a year, many people feel pressured to feel confident, to feel hopeful, to feel ready. But God is not asking for emotional certainty. He is asking for mental alignment. Alignment begins with attention. What you consistently give your attention to will shape your level of peace. When attention is scattered, trust weakens. When attention is focused, trust stabilizes. This is why Scripture connects peace with the mind. Peace is not accidental. It is cultivated. It grows when the mind chooses to remain anchored in what is steady instead of what is shifting. Unshakable trust does not come from knowing what will happen next. It comes from knowing who remains the same. God's faithfulness does not fluctuate with seasons. His presence does not depend on circumstances. His care does not weaken when answers are delayed. These truths become anchors for the mind when uncertainty rises. As this episode continues, allow yourself to notice where your thoughts tend to go when you feel unsettled. Do they rush ahead? Do they replay the past? Do they search for control? Awareness is the first step toward realignment. God is patient in this process. He does not demand instant trust. He invites repeated trust. Each time you bring your thoughts back to Him, you are strengthening something unshakable within you. This is not about perfect focus. It is about faithful return. And over time, the mind learns where to rest. The heart learns how to breathe, and trust becomes less fragile and more steady. Unshakable trust is not something that appears suddenly, nor is it formed in moments of emotional intensity. It is built slowly, quietly, over time, as the soul learns where to rest when certainty is absent. This kind of trust does not depend on circumstances becoming predictable, nor does it rely on feelings of confidence or clarity. It is formed when the heart chooses to remain anchored in God, even when nothing around it feels stable. Many people assume that trust should remove fear completely. They believe that if fear is present, trust must be weak. But mature trust works differently. It allows fear to exist without allowing it to rule. It teaches the soul how to stay grounded, even when questions remain unanswered and outcomes are unclear. This is where real peace begins to grow. Unshakable trust develops when the heart stops demanding constant reassurance, when it no longer needs immediate results in order to feel safe, when it understands that God's faithfulness is not proven by speed, but by consistency. God does not rush trust. He allows it to deepen over time, through experience, through waiting, and through repeated moments of surrender. Often, trust grows most in seasons where nothing visibly changes. Seasons where prayers feel quiet, where progress feels slow, where clarity seems distant. These seasons can feel uncomfortable and even discouraging, but they are deeply formative. In them, the heart learns an essential lesson. Stability does not come from control, but from surrender. Many hearts struggle because they want to trust God while still controlling outcomes. This internal conflict creates tension. Peace remains fragile because trust is divided. One part of the heart leans toward faith, while another part clings to the need for certainty. Unshakable trust requires release. It requires letting go of the need to predict, manage, and secure the future on our own terms. This release rarely happens all at once. It unfolds gradually, through honest prayer, through repeated surrender, through choosing rest even when clarity has not yet arrived. Each time the heart chooses to trust instead of striving, something within it is strengthened. At the beginning of a year, this lesson becomes especially important. New seasons awaken expectations. Plans are formed. Goals are set. Hope rises, but so does pressure. The mind begins to ask difficult questions. Will this year be different? Will I finally move forward? What if nothing changes? These questions are natural, but they can easily become heavy if they are allowed to dominate the heart. Unshakable trust does not silence these questions. It simply refuses to let them define reality. Instead of asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" trust begins to ask, "Who is God if it does?" This shift changes everything. The focus moves from outcomes to relationship, from fear to presence. Trust becomes less about what will happen and more about who God is. God does not promise a future without difficulty. He promises His presence within it. That promise becomes the anchor for the soul. When the heart truly believes that God is present, even uncertainty loses some of its power. Anxiety may still appear, but it no longer controls direction. When trust becomes a place the soul can live, the way a person moves through life begins to change. Reactions soften, comparisons lose their grip. Delays no longer feel like personal failures. Silence no longer feels like abandonment. The heart learns that God's nearness is not measured by visible progress, but by steady faithfulness. Unshakable trust allows the heart to remain grounded, even when prayers remain unanswered. It teaches the soul how to rest without guarantees. It builds resilience, not a hard resilience that closes the heart, but a gentle, steady strength rooted in God's character. This strength allows a person to remain open, hopeful, and faithful even when outcomes are uncertain. This kind of trust does not come from knowing what the future holds. It comes from knowing God. And knowing God takes time. Time spent in prayer that feels ordinary. Time spent waiting without clarity. Time spent choosing obedience without immediate reward. None of this time is wasted. God uses these moments to form depth. Depth produces stability. Stability creates peace. And peace becomes the environment where trust flourishes. When trust is rooted in peace, it becomes less reactive and more enduring. It no longer rises and falls with circumstances. It remains steady because it is anchored in something unchanging. If your trust has been shaken before, that does not disqualify you. It means you are human. Trust is not destroyed by struggle. It is refined by it. Every season that challenges trust also has the potential to strengthen it. God does not expect perfect faith. He invites honest faith. Honest faith admits fear without being ruled by it. Honest faith chooses rest even when answers are delayed. Honest faith stays when silence feels uncomfortable. This kind of faith is deeply valued by God because it reflects dependence rather than performance. As this year begins, release the pressure to feel confident or brave. God is offering something stronger than emotional certainty. He is offering relational security, a trust that does not depend on how you feel in the moment, but on who He is and who He has always been. You are not required to feel certain. You are not required to feel strong. You are invited to remain. Remain in God when emotions fluctuate. Remain in truth when circumstances feel unclear. Remain in trust when outcomes are delayed. Remaining is not passive. It is an active choice to stay anchored. It is choosing not to run from discomfort or rush toward control. It is choosing to let God shape the heart at His pace. Over time, this trust becomes unshakable, not because life becomes easier, but because the soul has found a place where it can live, breathe, and rest, regardless of what surrounds it. Trust becomes a steady foundation, not a fragile feeling. And from that foundation, peace flows naturally, even in uncertain seasons. This is the trust God desires to form within you. A trust that is quiet but strong, gentle but firm, patient but secure. A trust that does not depend on outcomes, but on relationship. A trust that remains, even when the path ahead is not yet clear. When trust becomes a place the soul can live, life no longer feels like something to survive. It becomes something to walk through with God, one step at a time, with steadiness, peace, and hope. God, we come before you with open hearts, aware of how often we carry uncertainty into our days. You see the questions we do not speak out loud, the concerns we carry quietly, and the moments when trust feels harder than we expected. Today, we choose to bring all of that into your presence. We acknowledge that we do not always know what lies ahead. We do not always understand the timing of our lives, and we do not always feel confident about the future. Yet we recognize that you remain faithful, steady, and present in every season we walk through. God, teach our hearts how to rest in you. Where our thoughts have been restless, bring peace. Where our emotions have been unsettled, bring calm. Where fear has tried to take root, remind us of your truth. We release the need to control outcomes. We release the pressure to have everything figured out. We release the belief that we must feel strong or confident in order to trust you. Instead, we choose to lean on your faithfulness, knowing that you are not shaken by our uncertainty. Help us learn how to trust you one day at a time. Not with dramatic declarations, but with quiet dependence. Teach us to bring our worries to you instead of carrying them alone. Teach us to pause when anxiety rises, and to remember that you are already present in what we fear. God, anchor our hearts in what does not change. When circumstances shift and emotions fluctuate, remind us that you remain the same. Your promises do not weaken. Your care does not fade. Your presence does not depend on our performance. We surrender this season to you. We place our plans, our hopes, and our unanswered questions in your hands. We trust that you are guiding us even when the path is unclear. We trust that you are working even when we cannot see results yet. As we move forward, help us choose trust again and again. Let our hearts learn to rest in you, knowing that you are faithful, attentive, and deeply involved in every detail of our lives. Amen. As we close this moment, allow yourself to carry a sense of calm with you. Trust does not require urgency. It does not demand immediate answers. It grows quietly as the heart learns where to rest when life feels uncertain. Unshakable trust is not built by avoiding challenges, but by learning how to walk through them with God. It allows you to face the future without fear dictating your steps. It reminds you that even when the way forward feels unclear, you are not walking alone. You may not have clarity about everything yet. Some decisions may still feel heavy. Some questions may remain unanswered. That does not mean you are unprepared. It means you are still being led. God often guides us step by step, not all at once, so that our trust stays rooted in Him rather than in outcomes. As you continue into this new season, remember that you are allowed to move gently. You do not need to rush growth. You do not need to pressure yourself to arrive somewhere quickly. God values faithfulness far more than speed. Trust will not always feel strong, but it can remain steady. Each time you choose to bring your concerns to God instead of letting them overwhelm you, trust deepens. Each time you pause instead of reacting, trust grows stronger. Each time you choose rest over anxiety, something within you becomes more secure. Let this be a season where you practice quiet confidence, confidence that does not come from certainty, but from relationship. Confidence that rests in God's character rather than in perfect circumstances. Confidence that allows peace to coexist with unanswered questions. As you move forward, keep returning to this truth. You are not late, you are not behind, and you are not forgotten. God is present in every step you take. He is shaping your heart with care and guiding your life with wisdom. May you continue walking with trust, allowing it to steady your heart and shape your choices. And may this trust carry you forward with peace, clarity, and hope, one step at a time.